Hi everyone, my name is Cindy and today I am going to be showing you how to create this simple, quick, and easy crocheted edging that you can see here around these dishcloths. To give you just a little bit of history, in the past I put a video up on YouTube showing how to make these dishcloths. You can look down in the description and find a link to that if you have not seen it yet. I have had such amazing feedback and amazing responses to that video. And I've had a couple people suggest that I show how to crochet an edging onto those dishcloths just to kind of finish the dishcloths off a little bit more, especially since people like to give them as gifts. So I decided to design again, a simple, quick, and easy edging to go around the dishcloths. And you can see that this one does not have the edging on it. Like this is the one I'm going to show you how to put the edging on. This one and this one, you can see the little contrasting edging. I contrasted the colors because I wanted you to be able to see them. When you make them, you can either do contrasted colors or you can do the same colors, just, whatever works for you. But I wanted you to be able to see the edging. And like I said, I intentionally designed this edging in such a way that if you make the first one, you already know the stitches that you need to know to be able to create this edging. So you don't have to learn any new stitches or any new techniques or anything like that. So it's going to be super simple and it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we really only need just a couple of supplies to get started here. We need to have a dishcloth that you've crocheted, and like I mentioned before, I have a previous video and I will put a link down in the description to that video if you would like to make that dishcloth, or if you have another dishcloth that you would like to finish the edges, that's perfectly fine too. So we need that, and this is out of cotton yarn. We need to have another cotton yarn, whether a contrasting color or the same. And it's really ideal if you can get the yarn to have the same weight to it. So like this is the same yarn just in a different color, but you don't want a really thin yarn and then a heavy yarn for the edging, nor do you want a really heavy yarn here for the base dishcloth and then a really fine yarn for the edging. I mean, unless that's what the look that you're going for. So I really just like to have the same weight of yarn, and an easy way to make sure you do that is just to get the same brand. Just get two different colors, or else again, if you're doing the same color, you can just continue on the same color that you've been using, but this is Sugar and Cream. Then of course you'll need a crochet hook. I am using an H8 5.00 millimeter. And I mentioned this in my last video, but anytime you pick up a ball of yarn, you can look and there's these charts on here. This one is for knitting. This one is for crochet. And it says 5 millimeter US H/8. And that's exactly what this is. So that just means that's a universally great size for this ball of yarn. So you need a crochet hook. We'll of course need some scissors because we're going to cut some threads at the end. And then you'll need a darning needle to weave in your threads at the very end. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we need to position our dishcloth in a way that we can think about how we're going to put the edging on. I usually like to start in like an upper right hand corner, and you can see where the previous row was crocheted on here. So I'll put my hook in here in just a second, go across, and then on the sides, it's sometimes a little more awkward because we consider the sides to be what we call selvedges, and it can be a little more difficult to find our stitches as we crochet, into these holes. Again, across the bottom, it should not be any problem because we just have our single crochets that we're going to be working on. And then coming back up the other side, again, we have kind of the selvedges that we are going to take into consideration. But don't stress out because I promise you it is super easy and there is nothing to worry about. So let's get started. All right, so I took the sleeve, the little paper sleeve off of my yarn, and I'm going to set it down. And like I mentioned earlier, I like to start in the upper right hand corner and make my way around. And the best thing to do is just relax and just enjoy this process. Crocheting, crafting, knitting, sewing, whatever, should really just be relaxing and should be fun. So try not to be too stressed out about it. What I like to do, I know there's all different ways that people will attach a new yarn to a project, but again, I like to keep things super simple. So I go up here to the upper right hand corner and find the corner stitch, and I will loop the yarn over it. I didn't put any knots or anything. I just loop it over, pull it through, and then I'm going to drop the little tail piece behind, and I'm going to just grab this piece. I'm going to hold it with my finger down here, and I'm just gonna pull it through just to make a little loop right there. And then I'm gonna hold on to this as I crochet, and then I will come back and weave that in when I am done. So remember earlier I said that you already knew all the stitches that you needed to know if you created this dishcloth. You already know the stitches for the edging. Well, that's because the edging is only going to include single crochet stitches and one slip stitch at the very end. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So all we did here was we just joined on, we just put our thread into the corner here. So I'm going to do 2 crochet stitches right here, single crochet stitches. Grab that yarn, pull it through. There's 1 single crochet. Going to do that one more time back into that same little hole. Grab the thread, pull it through, wrap it around, pull it through again. So we have 2 single crochets there. And then I'll show you how we're going to finish that when we come back around. But this is going to be a repeating theme. We're going to go 2 single crochets, and then we're going to skip a stitch. So the very next stitch would be right here. We are going to skip that stitch, and we are going to go here and do 2 more single crochets. So we're going to put the hook in, grab the yarn, pull it through, wrap it around again, and pull it off. There's 1. Put the needle in, or the hook, pull it through, wrap it around, pull it through. There's 2. And then let's see, here's 1 stitch. We're going to skip that. We're going to go into the next stitch, and we're going to do 2 single crochets. Let's see, 1 and 2. There's the next stitch. We're going to skip it, go to the next stitch. So every other stitch we are going to do 2 single crochets. Let's see how that's looking. It's looking good. Looking good. Skip that one. Start in this one. Make sure you have your yarn unwrapped from your little yarn thing. Let's see, and then we're going to skip this one, come in here, do 2 more single crochets. Okay, skip that one, come in here, do 2 more. Oops, almost got myself confused. Okay, I'm going to undo some more yarn. Sometimes it can be really handy if you have a bowl or a box or something to drop your little thing of yarn, little yarn hank, or I'm not really sure what people call them, but and then they can flop around and unroll themselves, but they don't get too far away from you. Let's see, I'll skip this hole, come into the next stitch, do 2 single crochets. Okay, skip that one. Come into this one, 1, 2, skip that. So we are essentially doing 2 single crochets in every other stitch. Skip that one, 1 and 2. There's 1 there. We're going to skip that one, come into that one, 1 and 2. Skip that, come here, and we're coming up on a corner, and that's okay. Just gonna skip there, and we're going to go here. Now this stitch is really close to this corner. So on these situations, what I like to do is I just do 1 stitch. And then we come to the corner. There's not room to skip a stitch or anything, so that's why I didn't put 2 in. Sometimes you have to use your fingernails, your finger to pull those out. On the corner, I like to do 3 stitches. I figure that way I give 1 stitch to this side, 1 stitch to this side, and then 1 stitch in the corner to kind of help it turn. So there's 1. Again, in the same hole, there's 2. And there's 3. So we are turning that corner. And that's where we started. Okay, so put it down, let me undo some more yarn. It's amazing how much, actually it doesn't use a lot of yarn, but it seems like I'm always undoing more yarn. Okay, so here's where we were talking about the selvedges. So the holes where you see the 1 width of yarn right there, those are the holes that we are going to go into and put our 2 single crochet stitches. So here's the first one, there's 1, and there's 2. Okay, here's the next one. So we're just gonna skip to there. 1 and 2. And we're going to go down to the next one. 1 and 2. And let's see, here's the next one. Again, crochet or crafting or whatever it is that you're doing should really be enjoyable. So sometimes we can be such perfectionists that we get analysis paralysis, or I do anyway, and we think, oh goodness, if I can't do it perfectly, I'm just not going to do it. And then we don't have the enjoyment of actually creating something. So my philosophy is just do it and just enjoy it, and don't stress out about the little minor details. People aren't going to look that closely, honestly. And these dishcloths, as you wash them, I mentioned in the past in my other video, these can be washed with your towels in the washing machine. And as you wash them, they will kind of pull together a little bit anyway. I was going to lay that down for a second. They're going to pull together, and all of the yarns kind of meld together a little bit better. So it's not going to be noticeable. So honestly, it's perfectly fine however you choose to do the edges. But I think this gives it a really nice look. So here we are at the corner again. So we did 2 single crochets here, and we're going to trying to find the hole there on the end. Sometimes the corners can be really tricky for me, so I have to use my finger to help. So let's see, there's 1. And again, we do 3 in the corners. There's 2, that's for the corner. Three. So we turn the corner, and now we're back on, this is what was the bottom in the past. So now we're just back to crocheting into this foundation of single crochets. So this should be relatively easy for us. Let's see, here's the next one, and we're gonna skip it. So go to every other. So I'll put in 1, 2. There's the next one. We're gonna skip that one, come into the second one. 1 and 2. And let's see, skip and then go into the second one. 1 and 2. Let's see, we're just going to keep motoring around. like I mentioned in the past, I love making these as gifts and giving them to people. I've given them for Christmas gifts. I've given them for like new home gifts. They're just really a nice, thoughtful gift. And a lot of people don't make things by hand anymore for others, and so I find that most people are really flattered when I give them a handmade gift. It really means a lot to people that you've taken that just a little bit of time to you know, think of them and to make them something. And I think we all need a little bit more of that kindness right now. Okay, let's get some more yarn here. Let's see, we're coming up on the third corner. But look how nice and tidy that looks. I really like these colors together too. Let's see, here's another one of those situations. I don't think that I can jump from here to the corner. So I am going to put, let me see, one stitch. Actually, I think I can go ahead and do both stitches there. Again, see, you can do this just on the fly. You can make your own decisions about where you think the stitch should be or shouldn't be. There's, you know, nothing secret or super hard about it. Just make those decisions and just go with it and feel good about it. Okay, let's see. So we have 3 sides done. 3 sides done, one more, this selvage edge, and then I'm going to show you how to join it and finish off the edge. So here we go. Let's find those stitches that have just the one layer thread. I'm not sure that's one, but I think I definitely need to have a stitch there, because I think if I waited to the next one, it would be too far. Okay, so 2 single crochets. Here's our next spot that's waiting for us. Here's our next one. So again, 2 single crochets in each one. We're almost done. How do you feel? Are you enjoying it? Do you need to relax your shoulders? Do you need to smile? Because, I mean, goodness, we're having fun here. We're doing fun stuff, we're making things, and we're making things that are usable and purposeful. And they're beautiful. Those are all good things. Okay, only a couple more stitches. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, 1 stitch left. I want to point out something really super quick. Remember at the very beginning when we started in this first hole and we put in 2 single crochets? And what about the other corners? I said I usually do 3, right? So that it helps us turn the corner. Perfect. Well, I started here with 2 because I wanted to, when we come back around, I want to put the 3rd one in the exact same hole. Wrap the thread around, bring it together, and then, so we've worked all the way around, we're going to do a slip stitch now. I'm not sure we did not do a slip stitch last time, but I'm going to show you how super easy it is. We're going to take our hook, we're going to put it through this first stitch right here. The two, if I can get it, let me see, let me use my fingers to help it a little bit. I'm going to pick up both of those, well, it's just 1 stitch, and we're just going to wrap the thread around it, and we're going to pull it through and then pull it through both loops. I like to just make a large loop, grab my yarn, pull it through, and there we go. Now all we need to do is grab our scissors and our darning needle. All right, so I got my scissors. I love these little scissors. And I'm going to cut my yarn off. So now I have 2 threads, 2 yarns that I need to weave in or sink the threads. I always call it sink the threads. And I don't know how you all thread your needles, but I don't know, I like to bend mine in half, and then it seems to go in the needle much easier. And then when you get to this point, you can just decide how it is that you want to, or where you want to take the thread tail. I kind of just decide where I want to work it in. You can work it in here. You just want to weave it so that it kind of locks the stitch in so the crochet doesn't come undone. And like I said earlier, once you put this in the washing machine, it will lock these stitches in. So I put it, probably about an inch, and then just cut it. Just make sure you don't cut your other yarns that you do not want cut. That wouldn't be great. And then this one, take it and do the same thing. Fold the yarn over, put it in your darning needle, and then let's see, maybe this one I'll go this way and just weave those threads in, sink them in. Since I'm doing the contrasting colors, I'm trying to weave this in just in the same color because it would be pretty visible if I started weaving it in down here. So let's weave that in a little bit more. Pull it through, pull the needle off, oops, clip it, and always reshape it a little bit. And there we have a lovely dishcloth that now has a nice little edging on it, and I really like the contrasting edges. You can also do them, like I said, in the same color if you want, but if I did them in the same color, it would have been more difficult for you to see me demonstrate it, so I wanted to do the contrasting colors for you, but I really like these colors together. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed that. I would love to hear from you. I would love for you to make some of these for yourself, and I would love for you to make some of these to share with others. And I would love to hear from you. So until we meet again, be blessed, friends. Bye-bye.